Hi, everyone. Welcome to this second episode of the AI Visionary Podcast. My name is Joel Azraya, and I founded this podcast with my co host Milind with the aim of sharing actionable, unique, and bold insights on the central theme of how do we generate sustainable ROI from AI. And this could be, from various AI leaders who are sharing with us, but also the focus here is what were the pathways to success that they had, but also some of the challenges and pitfalls that you should avoid when you aim to generate meaningful ROI from AI. So my career actually spans over 20 years, founding and developing profitable recruitment businesses, placing senior AI, insurance, and tech executives. And over the last 8 years, I've been helping chief AI and data officers to implement their AI strategies by recruiting the best talent for them. I'd like to share and hand over to my co-host Milind for his introduction.
Thank you, Joel. Hi, everyone. I'm Milind, and apart from being Joel's close friend, I have also been trying to build a career over the last 20 years. Started as a business consultant, was a core team member of a successful startup, turned around a loss-making business, saw the potential of AI and how it will change the world of business, did my third master's in AI, and right now I'm trying to help organizations and leaders navigate the AI transformation across their companies. And it is in this context that Joel and I came together to bring the ideas of some of the best, most successful, most innovative leaders in this space to all of you.
Fantastic. Great. Thanks for sharing, Milind. So we're very lucky today. Our guest today has taken the road less traveled to the C-suite. From academia to consulting to developing the AI strategy for the Monetary Authority of Singapore, setting up a greenfield AI consulting company. David, welcome to the AI Visionary Podcast.
Thank you very much. And also thank you for calling it a road. In my head is, when someone's lost, like, I'm not lost, I'm just enjoying the scenery. But it has and is and will be continuously a journey. I mean, the world of AI, and we were just talking briefly before it started, is, if anything, it makes you ponder. It kind of makes you think about so many questions, from organizational elements in terms of engagement, people, process, and eventually also technology. So, yes.
Fantastic. Great to have you, David. I wanted to actually start off by one of the posts that you recently posted on LinkedIn about your journey from a personal aspect.
Yeah.
Because, of course, everyone presents a certain way in the corporate world, but you're very able to be candid and share your personal journey, which is very, very relevant to a lot of the folks in our audience. You shared that you were diagnosed with dyslexia when you were 19 years old.
Yeah.
How did that shape your journey to where you are today?
Oh, it's been a absolutely pivotal part of who I believe I am today. And first, thank you. I mean, it was something that, while I've never been shy to talk about, obviously with friends and personal scenarios, it's like I thought long and hard whether it's something that I put out there. Because, I didn't want to be like just another one of those guys who shares this heart-wrenching story, but don't forget to click. No. But I've ended up having so many conversations generally with friends and people who were sharing their stories with most of the times, their children. And I kind of felt, look, these are people who are really going through difficulties. I went through truly difficulties as well. But there is a path. Now, to answer your question, look, dyslexia is a spectrum. It really is. And it's not like one thing.
Yeah.
Everyone has it slightly differently. Everyone can manifest it in different forms. But long and short of it is, you're different.
Yeah.
You're different from the mold. And not that I mean that the rest all fit in this beautiful little box. Everyone is unique, of course. Mm-hmm. But you're slightly, perhaps, let's say, more unique in those elements. Now, how that helped shape me, obviously the diagnosis, as I kind of half joked, it was in my ASH alignment test, was you're constantly feeling misunderstood. Mm-hmm. You have this continuous feeling of, like, I'll give you an example. I still do physics. I used to tutor my friends in physics, but I would fail every single exam.
Okay.
And I mean, think about that. As a kid, you're just like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
But all of this, and you see I'm smiling, it gave this resilience of, it doesn't matter if I don't succeed. It doesn't matter if I take a path and I fail. It doesn't matter if you don't understand me. And it still happens to this day, where it either I did not articulate it perfectly or right, or we're just not there yet in terms of what is it that we're trying to achieve. Usually people will take that as like, oh, the boss didn't understand me, or I had this presentation, it didn't go well, or talking to a client. They take it as like it's a discouragement in that journey. I take it as like, no, it's okay. How do we pivot? I truly believe that this, let's say, is the right thing to be done, or this is something that will give us value. How do I hold on to that? And how do I constantly find that way to get it across the ledge, even if it means I need to spend more time? So it's that, for me personally, it was that resilience at the face of, I don't want to call it, I call it the no. You could call it failure, resistance, it doesn't matter. But it's that resilience of saying, no, we're going to keep on going. We're going to do this no matter what, because change, innovation, transformation, progress, capability, whatever category you want to put there, is something that's worth fighting for.
But if I just build on that, David, you need a certain confidence to say, I can accept failure and then overcome it. And obviously that's a pivotal in the field that you're in right now, which you were talking earlier. Where did that confidence come from?
Actually, I'm going to attribute to my parents. And also my post, I wasn't half joking, persistence from my mother was that confidence and faith that you just keep going. And I actually remember that. So I did a matriculation, so baccalaureate.
Yeah.
And like I said, I failed pretty much every exam.
Yeah.
And it was before the first big one.
Yeah.
I was just like, that doesn't make sense. Why? Why go sit there, try, waste time, fail? Yeah, my mother is in tears, but saying, no, you have to do it. And of course, it took her apart. Then my dad, because we kind of lived in this duplex, and he never used to come up. He would be like, it's like the older generation, all that. And he came up and he kind of literally said, like, what? I said, like, Dad, it's no point. I'm going to go, I'm going to sit, I'm going to fail. And he just looked at me and said, and? Fail. But at least you did it, no? Turns around, walks away. I was just like, I'm like, that was either the worst pep talk on the planet but it sunk in. So that to me was the seed of the confidence, that it's okay to be wrong. It's okay not to succeed. And it's not about a single instance. Now, obviously it wasn't an overnight thing. You have to build it. And obviously you do have successes a long time, and you do realize that, hey, I was right. I think I mentioned to you this, and I do mean it half jokingly, that I'm writing a book called I Told You So. And it's like, told you so.
Yeah.
But that's why it's important. And that's, again, if I go back why I wrote it, actually, that piece was for the parents.
Oh, wow.
Where the message is, even if your son or your daughter, whoever, comes and says something that like, I want to be, I don't know, top surgeon, or I want to be an astrophysicist, and they're not even getting 1 point in their math exam, and they're thinking like, no, let's no, stand behind them.
Yeah.
Give them that passion, give them obviously the means to keep on moving forward. It is absolutely critical. It's difficult. It is very difficult, but it's critical because it puts in the seed in order to have these broader conversations and broader viewpoints in, when we all unfortunately kind of grow up.
Yeah, no, I think also about the part that you just mentioned, right, is being comfortable asking difficult questions, or taking on difficult roles like you always do in your career. I guess now that it makes sense. What's the common thread in your journey? So
if I actually, it's not even a U-turn, because it is the common thread, absolutely, of AI. Many times I will be in a meeting and I will say, look, I'm apologies in advance if I'm going to ask a whole bunch of dumb questions. but I really want to understand. And I will ask a lot of seemingly obvious questions. Why? David, we want to, from obviously now everything is Gen AI, but let's say before it's propensity models. We want to build a propensity model to increase revenue. Why? And you may look at me saying like, are you an idiot, David? It's like, I just told you, I want to make revenue. Like, no, I get it. Don't get me wrong. I'm not challenging you, but why? Are you, basically the question within the question is, are you telling me that we're not meeting the targets that we have today? Are you telling me that there's a market potential that we haven't unlocked yet? Are you telling me that there's a new bit? Why? And these kind of one can argue that they're borderline philosophical, existential, but actually that's what's really important when you think about AI. AI is understandably and not incorrectly many times perceived as technology, as a piece of tech. And again, I want to emphasize, it's not incorrect. It is heavily dependent on technology to facilitate that. But the key word there, facilitate. It isn't the objective. It's the underlying thing that we're trying to uncover. And what you find is, actually the tech is easy. It's, okay, I give you that oracle of capability. How are you going to use it? I literally will be in meetings and we discuss, and I go like, tomorrow, it's done. How do you use it? The number of times I have people say to me, oh, actually, that's a good question. I'm like, thank you, first of all. I think we might want to answer that question now.
I'm guessing they came to the meeting asking for solutions or expecting solutions. They went back with more questions than they had before.
Like I said, I apologize in advance. But it is important. It's really important, especially if you're thinking of it from a transformative point of view. If you think of it, look, we just want to fix this. We want to just do that. Point solution, which is perfectly fine, by the way. There's slightly bit of an over-obsession about AI will come save the world. No, it's okay. It's perfectly fine saying, something? Actually, we're good. If there's some stuff that it can help us with, fantastic. Otherwise, we're good. That's actually, in fact, something? More respect. But if you're saying, no, we truly believe that this can fundamentally change our operation and make us resilient for the future, okay, let's be serious about it then and understand what are the consequences or the prerequisites or the operations that would be required. Doesn't mean we have to do everything. Actually, quite definitely you don't want to do everything. But you need to know it. You need to understand it. You need to have that map of what am I going into?
I guess that's also because, David, a lot of times people are perceiving AI, like you said, as a technology, as a tool, which thereby casts chief AI and data officers, this area is like a cost center. They're going to position with IT, and that puts the role under a lot of pressure. So how do people in these roles transition from cost to profit center and, thereby creating a new mindset for their stakeholders?
Half joking, difficultly, and sometimes they just don't.
Okay.
But on a serious note, and that's a very important point there, and one way of thinking of it is that we kind of need to change the way we look at things. Technology traditionally has been a cost center because it also has a degree of maturity, literally a microphone, making sure it's operation, emails, light, because by the way, that's also part of technology, but usually more of a building infrastructure. So these are things which there is a standard. And it's to operate, and we run that standard, and essentially there's a cost. Done. And as we mature, like for example, email. Now it's a business doesn't, indirectly they do, but it's funded and managed by technology. AI, again, and we can debate it. And of course, there are tails ends, there are certain parts of it which are mature. There are many parts that are not. One of the means in terms of doing that is actually realizing that there needs to be a duality. There needs to be this duality of we're standard, we're fixed, the one ring to rule them all. And on the other hand, it's we need to go fast. We need to explore. We need to try. I'm willing to take risks because you know what? Business is about taking risk. I need to control. You see, now, how that's being manifested, various forms. In some scenarios, you literally see two people with kind of almost like an equitable accountability, responsibility. In other scenarios, going back to your point about moving away from a cost center, is where you have this term like two in a box, where now you're kind of finding people saying, well, you know what? You still have the business line, and obviously they're accountable P&L, but guess what? Let's say, David, your KPI is tied to that. Now, suddenly, I'm like, well, I want to make sure that whatever I'm doing is going to have an impact on that P&L, because guess what? I'm going to be measured and monitored. Now they may sound a bit overly materialistic and simple, but guess what? Humans are motivated by incentive.
Of course.
Why fight it? Embrace it. But again, it's a difficulty. It's a difficulty because in a world that has largely been verticalized, because it's simple, departments, P&L, you suddenly have this quote unquote new kid on the block, which kind of ignores or disregards or hops over silos and kind of goes, ta-da. Where do you put it? Like, for me to do something well for, let's say, if you think about the banking sector, to do well in the retail business, suddenly I need to do with corporate. I suddenly have to operate. It suddenly goes, and like, it truly needs to sit as a horizontal. Our organizational structures are not designed for that. You see, that's the tension. Now, there are various means and ways to go about it, but that's ultimately the tension. What I find is people try and put in a box. No, go in technology, do that. No.
Excellent point, David. In fact, I will ask you the question that you just asked. Where do you put it? As per your thoughts, experience, what is the right way to start on this journey? Where do you put these AI people?
How long do we have? It's truly a borderline existential question. So let me give you the politically correct response. It depends.
Yeah. Yeah, because we are a politically correct podcast.
God knows, I haven't put my foot in my mouth. Yeah. But on a serious note, and double click on the depends. Because it's a horizontal. And the kind of challenges, because again, we don't truly have a horizontal role. Well, I guess we do, but then it's directly the CEO.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I would always advocate it needs to sit either as close as possible or within the most critical function that it needs to change. Okay? Now, AI is a journey. And again, I'm not just saying this from a consultancy speak point of view. It really is. And even if you're saying, well, David, we're a multi-billion-dollar company, we have all of these functions, you still must have a priority.
Yeah. Right.
It's on a Michelle Yeoh film, everything all at once. You need to start somewhere. So you see what I'm already saying? AI can move. You may say, David, no, the most critical thing for me right now is because I believe there's an opportunity in terms of improving my operational efficiency and productivity in terms of also creating capacity. Fantastic. It needs to sit within operations. Put it there under the COO and make sure it is driving, because it needs to, remember, it's techno-functional.
Right.
If you're saying, no, David, I care about increasing my revenue across fundamentally, and usually revenue, obviously loss or bottom line is critical as well. CFO. It moves. Once you reach the stage of maturity, and maturity meaning that, I like to use the phrase, let's make AI boring again, because it used to be boring once.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. It just doesn't, it doesn't matter. Put it in IT. Because it's simply that we don't think about it. Like, do you think about the marvels of AI when you open your phone and think, no, you don't, you just use it.
What will happen to all the people on LinkedIn who are posting about what AI case studies are being successful? If AI becomes boring again, then
yeah, well, I guess their comfort and mine is I am sure this is going to be the next thing. don't underestimate the power of the marketing.
But David, on that note, like, why does AI work better if it's invisible and trustworthy? Like, to supplement your point about make AI boring again, why?
Because I don't know what the right phrasing or term is. We're over fetishizing it, or we're over fantasizing, romanticizing it. Yeah. AI. And like, this is aura.
Jazz hands.
But think about it. If I do that, I've now elevated it. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, it makes me very happy. Obviously, it keeps me occupied. But think about, again, I'm literally trying to think of a boring thing to give an example. Yeah, okay, operations, mortgages. Can't get any more boring than that. Well, bank insurance, literally, mortality. So think about it. In that process of doing an AI initiative, is it really about the AI? No. It's about the process. Sure, it can be enabled by AI, but it's the process. How does the relationship manager or the agent or the call center operator, what does it mean in terms of the credit? Do you see my point? You have all of these pieces that are necessary to be brought together. Yes, there is AI. But if you've now made it as the crown jewel, I almost guarantee you that you are not going to give enough attention to Six Sigma, the process, the how are you going to use it? Guess what? In my past, we did a full transformation of bank assurance. Again, remember, I kid not. It's a heavy. Who wants to talk about the mortality? And one of the biggest issues, like you always have a very small sample. We used AI. We used AI to really start help identifying who may want it because of where they are at their stage of life. Now, then, how do you engage someone and have a conversation? That is that. And if I may make a segue, and this is what gets me really excited, is I keep on hearing people talking about roles, about jobs in the field. Notice what I've spoken about. It actually puts more emphasis on the human-to-human interaction. It puts more emphasis on the what do we do with it? What is the meaning of it? What is the process? So that's why I say make AI boring. Because once you've done that, it becomes a thing that enables. It becomes a supporting function. And we're focusing on the objective. We're focusing on the outcome. The outcome isn't AI. You mentioned earlier, insurance, banking, healthcare. Again, pick a topic, pick a field. Do you want to go to a doctor who tells you, guess what? We have AI. And you look at him and saying like, yeah, but is that going to make me feel better? Is that going to make me healthier? Is that going to help me in my broken? It's the fact that you have AI, fantastic. Good on you, brother. But the outcome, the objective, the purpose, that needs the focus.
One interesting question comes to my mind. This, especially from an organizational change perspective, because AI is such a hyped up thing. One of the things that always comes up when we talk about AI, apart from management wanting to do it, is people being scared of it. The resistance to change because there's a perception that somehow, while on this journey to better outcomes, my job will get affected. And this, of course, started much more with software engineers because that is where most of the hype was, but is now also affecting people in legal professions, etc. How does one navigate? How does one control the messaging in an organization to bring about that alignment, get away from fear and the focus on outcomes and the boring stuff?
The first thing that I truly believe needs to happen, and I see it obviously with friends and colleagues and other very much wiser people in the industry, is we at first have to acknowledge it. There's sometimes an immediate reaction of saying like, oh no, you shouldn't be afraid. It's like, come on, what do you mean? It's unintentionally, but akin to sometimes dismissal. The very first thing that's really important is acknowledgement. I understand your fear. I understand your concern. I understand the issues, even if, and obviously I will not say that it may be unfounded, but I understand it. Now, why that's important? Because number one, it's recognition. Then that brings us to step number two. It's not just about convincing you why this is, broccoli is going to be good for you. It's doing it. It's acting on it. I mean, again, we were having a pre-chat and we're talking about, evolution and how does a leaf bug know what a leaf looks like when it can't see, because it's influenced by external factors, predators. Now, not that I'm advocating introduction of predators into work, but what I'm alluding at is incentive. When I come and say, let's say, and let me use the term of agentic since it's the hot topic of the months. I'm saying we want to have agents in operations. Now there's going to be concern on the ground in terms of, but hey, this is my job. Well, let's be even more real. For me to get promoted, I need to have more people reporting to me.
Yes.
If you're going to give me agents, what's going to happen? So you see, it's looking and understand the human, the behavioral side, and saying, no, you're going to still get promoted. And now we're putting a policy in place. This is the career path that if you go from whether it's a human or an agent, robotic agent, from 1 to 100, this is your career path. You put it there.
Yeah.
You put it there.
Right.
Then you showcase it. Proof is in the pudding. I have seen deployments. I have been in deployments. In fact, okay, and I will not mention them,
Yes.
where people not only did not lose their jobs, would it change? Would there be an evolution? 100%. I will not be the person saying, no, nothing. There will 100% be a change. Maybe it's small, large, but there'll be a change. But in many of the engagements I've been, the ones that I've been involved in, people not only did not have a fear of losing it, they got promoted. They ended up running shops. They ended up driving transformation. Why? Because guess what? It created capacity to think about the objectives. It created capacity to think about what is it we're trying to do. It enabled those things that we keep on saying are important, but do we really have an enablement for it? Critical. You see my point? It actually creates a developmental path. But keyword, I'll stop there. We need to do it. Many times organizations just talk about it, all good, all fine. Pudding,
A small follow-up on that one. This is very interesting about the alignment. One of the, and you must have seen these research also come out, 91% of these efforts fail. People complaining that, my management doesn't understand my work. They force me to use AI. Now my productivity is down 19% and stuff like that. Yeah. So I'm sure there is that carrot and stick approach being followed also by the management to bring some kind of an alignment. But so there are these both kinds of stories. Yeah, one that somehow it gets aligned and there is success, and then there is the other part. Yeah, where I am forced to adopt AI and AI tools, etc. But this is really counterproductive to my job. So what is the right way to think about? How to get this balance right?
Oh boy, really existential questions. Well, it starts off with what I was mentioning earlier. And again, I truly don't believe there's any ill intent or malevolency, but we're sometimes not very good at listening. In fact, one of the best feedbacks I received as a young consultant was, and I hope I can say it, is, David, shut up and listen. And despite the fact that people complain that, David, you actually talk a lot, I really try to listen. I try to listen to, why are you afraid? What is that you're truly trying to achieve? Now, the reason I say that is because one of the feedbacks, and I'm kind of giggling as I'm saying this, that I used to get, especially when I was a consultant, is when you go speak to top management and what they want to achieve. And then you go down to boots on the ground. Many times, again, obviously not that anyone's wrong, but many times you have the feedback of, okay, they don't know what they're talking about. It's not that they don't know what they're talking about. Obviously, there's a strategic objective. There's a goal. They're seeing things from 100,000, 200,000 feet in the air. They're seeing parts that maybe you're not seeing. But you might not be seeing parts that you're not true, that you're seeing.
Right.
That what you're trying to achieve has an interdependency that you're not even aware of. This is where reconciliation is really important. So again, it could be any example. It's talking to the ground saying, what would really make a difference? Yes, we want to do this and all that, but is that just a ticking the box of doing an initiative or a pilot and all that? But what if tomorrow I cannot switch off? And many times you actually find that it's really, I don't want to say simple, but there are things that you didn't expect them to be. And they're adjacent to what is perceived to be the goal. But focusing on that creates that I've been heard. You're addressing a pain that I'm experiencing. Then guess what happens? If I come and I help you in some degree, and I help address a pain, a scratch that you're feeling right now, and I say, hey, by the way, I have a suggestion. Maybe you won't listen to me, but I think there's a good chance you say, okay, David, look, I will give you some of my time. Versus me coming and saying, okay, so this is how you can do better.
Right.
Again, remember, zero intention, but think of how arrogant that sounds. You can do better sales. You can do more. Oh, the way you've been running operations for 20 years. Nah. We can get 50%.
I think a lot of it is also to do, David, with how the narrative is crafted around what technologies is this company using, or what products are they creating, versus the people that are actually behind the creation of those products and solutions.
Thank you. This is, look, and going back maybe to, I don't know whether it's the confidence or the persistence. Again, thank you, mother. And you can check my record. I've been saying this for a very long time. And I'm not saying this because of of definitely not disparaging or because I don't think it's important. Again, it is critical. In fact, at maturity, put it in technology. But that's exactly why I say AI is not technology. Because I'm trying to, hopefully in some degree successfully, emphasize the other parts that are far more important and need to have that emphasis of that human angle.
So what do companies need to do to shift that dialogue? Because right now I feel the dialogue is very heavy towards what technology and products are we creating without understanding the impact. And then towards more like, oh, how are we making our teams and our people more productive and more successful in a way that makes them feel excited about their work?
I hope it doesn't sound overly simplistic, but it's a starting point. And again, remember, horizontal spectrum journey. It not only can change, it must change with time. That's another thing which I think organizationally we're not very comfortable. We keep on trying to make these, this is the change that will result in no more change. And what always happens? Exactly. It's you need to almost embrace the chaos. So with that spirit is, do not give the accountability to technology. It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
It's saying you're important.
Yeah.
You have a critical seat on the table.
Yeah.
But I'm sorry, you are not the decision maker. You are COO.
Yes.
You are business head. The moment you do that, you have changed the conversation. Will there be discomfort? 100%. No, but they're going to result in security issues. No, it's going to result in but we need that.
Yeah.
We need that. If you come and tell me at the top of the house, David, we are unable and unwilling to take risk. Not a problem. But we now have identified our operation ability.
Yeah.
If you're saying, no, there are certain areas that we're willing to take risk, and Mr. Business, you are the one who can decide, I am willing to, again, obviously within reason. Obviously, don't break the law and don't get in trouble, da-da-da. But at the end of the day, it's always about taking risk. Living is about taking risk.
And that comes to our central theme, like the pathway to generating ROI is there are various different ways, and there'll be some ways that don't work out, which is why, to come back to what you just used, embrace the chaos. Not many companies want to do that, but they want like a straight road to ROI. Does that?
You have so many phrases from you can't have an omelet without breaking a few eggs to this to that. So I don't know if you're familiar with Ash's test. It's a psychological test where it's fascinating. It's really, really fascinating. What happens usually, and I apologize, but I wanted to give you a bit of sense, is they'll put usually about 9-10 people in a room who are all actors. You are the one who's subjected. You are the experiment, but you don't know that.
Yeah.
And there'll be various things. The most common one is there'll be a ball that's red. And you're the last person in the sequence. And they'll start one by one saying, please say out loud the color of the ball. First one, blue. Next one, blue. And you can, because obviously the camera's on you, but you don't know that. And you could see you going like, what do you mean it's blue? It's red. And it'll just keep on going. And every single one of the actors will say, in confidence, it's blue. The number of people that when they gets to them, guess what? They say, it's blue. So, and sometimes you need to go, it's red. What the hell?
Yeah.
So that's what I mean by there needs to be an ability of persistently driving it and saying, we need to try this out. We need to explore. Even if the outcome is, oh, I'm sorry, I'm wearing contact lenses. Actually, because if we don't have an ability of taking that risk in a room full of people who are all saying one thing rather than the other, if we don't have that appetite to being that person and going like, no, but this is what I think. This is my view. You'll by definition can never evolve.
And that comes down to the culture that already exists in the company, driven from the leadership, right? So if they don't have that,
tone is from the top, always. If there's one thing I've learned in the time that amazing time that I spent in the regulator, the tone is from the top. This is why I always, and again, placement aside, etc. and all that. And again, not just AI. Please put AI aside. Anything. If it's already a staple diet, it's okay. It's done. It's operational. And it will continue to operate no matter what you do. If you want to elicit change, you must have the seniority to embrace and drive it, because there will always be discomfort of doing something different, even if that different is logical or reasonable or right. It's just, that's the way it is.
In your experience, David, is that a make or break for a chief AI or chief data officer to succeed in their role?
I don't want to sound kind of gloomy, but the reality, I mean, you know what? I don't even have to answer that. You just quoted 91% failure.
Yeah.
There's hope, but as a salesperson once told me many years ago, hope is not a strategy. Now, it doesn't guarantee success. I want to emphasize that. I mean, again, nothing in life guarantees success, but it doesn't guarantee success. But it provides a pathway of exploration. It's like, what was the book, Too Big to Fail. I think we've all come to terms, well, hopefully we've all come to terms that you shouldn't do big bangs, right? You should, even if you have this grandiose, beautiful objective, you're going to chunk it down, have more, right?
Yes.
Again, same thing. You need to take a pragmatic approach towards and course correct because you're learning. I'll give you an example. You may say, oh, David, we're trying to mitigate certain risk. Okay, but you've never done it before. How do you know? Now you say, but David, look, I'm not going to take the chance. Again, but you see, this debate has to happen.
Right.
Because otherwise it's theoretical. It's theological. You need to try. You need to experiment within reason, of course.
Yeah.
If I go back to the medical example, you don't like a doctor to experiment on you on certain things. But that is the essence. AI is about, I mean, maybe I should start using this term. It's about evolution. It's about transformation. If it's not about evolution and transformation, it's not about AI. It's BAU.
Yeah.
Even if it has AI, it's BAU. Again, that's perfectly fine. And maybe if I kind of zoom back to an early question that you asked, and as I'm talking, I'm thinking, that should be maybe the first question an organization needs to ask themselves. Is this our BAU, or is this a lever for us to innovate and evolve? That has a massive impact in terms of how you organize it and how you operationalize it.
There are quite a few very interesting things that you've said. One of the things that sticks in my mind is that this approach of calibrated experimentation, and conscious risk-taking. This often requires, even though the tone can be set from the top, this requires an organizational flexibility, and resilience, which I would say is not very easy, to bring to any organization. And it also depends probably on two factors: the nature of the industry itself,
Of course.
and of course the kind of people we have, in the organization. And we've heard of stories where I think 2 years back in one software company, news was they fired 8,000 developers and replaced them with 8,000 Gen AI developers. And there have been others like this. So while on the journey to bring an organization to that level of flexibility, of experimentation, how does one find the balance, between the messaging part, and the incentives part, and this stick part?
No, brilliant question. And I want to double down or double click on what something you said, because I think it's extremely important. It has to be contextualized. Now, obviously, I'm talking about in generalities, but it'll be fundamentally different if we're talking about just a pure software company or running a nuclear power plant.
Correct.
And that's another thing that also is extremely important when we think about doing this. And also what makes it a bit difficult is that there definitely isn't one shoe, one size fits them all. It absolutely has to be contextualized. That's number one. Number two is, how do you go down this pathway? Let me give you again, a bit of a tangent example. So I came from the world of academia. And there it's about writing papers, being novel, really driving it to be uniquely different from what previously has been done, because that's the way you can get published. It can't just be incremental. So when I kind of got into the industrial world, went to the dark side. No kidding. That was also my view of like, I need to get you that 90% improvement. I need to get you that 70%. I want to push it to the furthest of ends of what is possible. And that just kept on not working. And when I say not working, sorry, just to explain on that is, there'll just be pushback. There'll be organizational pushback. There'll be people like, yeah, no. And you're like, what do you mean, yeah, no? It's giving you a result that is far beyond anything that you have today. But net, very low adoption. And then I don't know what came over me. I said, you know what? Even though I know we can get, let's say fraud, again, propensity, who's going to buy, whatever it may be. Instead of giving you 90% improvement, I'm going to give you 20. I know I can give you 90. I'm just going to give you 20. Guess what happened? People adopted it. Because there was a relatedness. There was suddenly a realistic, like, oh, okay, it's 20% better. Yeah, that makes sense. Whereas when I was 90%, they're like, nah. It was just disbelief. So what I'm getting at is that I actually don't think it's that difficult. Big statement. Because ultimately, the things that need to be done are actually small individually. But they need to happen in concert. Incentive, alignment of objective, achievement, risk appetite, like that. Which results in that point of what you're really trying to achieve is you need to pass the threshold of momentum. Because the moment you pass that, it goes. Think of ChatGPT when it was first released. AI has been around for donkey years. The facilitation, the capabilities of what is Gen AI has been around for donkey years. But it was never relatable. You had to be, a person in a white coat in a back room, doing mathematics and, it takes, like suddenly you're like, no, you're just having a conversation. It passed the ledge. It just went like wildfire. In a similar analogy, that's the goal. But to get there also, and this is where, to add to my list of things that I apologize for, I will always tell an organization, one of my roles is to test you. Because if it's about transformation, if it's about evolution, I need to see contextually, where's the point when you go like, oh, David, I'm really not comfortable anymore. Because if I don't do that, we can't evolve. Or simply put, if I'm in a meeting room and I propose an idea and everyone goes, yeah, oh, that's a good idea. We should do that. I failed. I need someone to say no. I need someone to go
somebody to ask you the difficult questions.
I have to, it goes back to that resilience because that's when I go, okay, we're
making progress.
We're making progress. And even if we don't do it, it's okay. Because now you've surfaced up that level of discussion, that level of discourse. Should we be doing it?
Yeah.
Shouldn't. Even if it only happens next, we've moved. But back to my point, is it just simply BAU or is it transformation?
So just to zoom out a bit, David, so you've worn many hats, right? We talk about the one that, you started the Singapore FinTech Festival with MES when you were at MES. And, when you're at MES, probably you saw a whole different gamut of organizations that you were working with, right? And now we see there's a strong desire for organizations to talk about their success with AI. How do we go from that kind of environment to like creating an ecosystem where failure is normalized, like it's okay to fail because that's how you're going to progress?
I'm still figuring that one out, to be very honest. From when I was in academia, I wanted to have a journal of failures because I would go do research, and then I'll speak to someone. It's like, yeah, we tried it 9 months ago and it didn't work. I'm like, I wish someone wrote that, so I would have not put all my time and effort in it. And I kind of joked that we kind of still need it today, but it's two things. It's about comfort. Like one of the things, so when I was back in MAS, and obviously FinTech Festival was very much part of it, but there were many others, it's creating those environments whereby it's maybe it's a bit more intimate. Again, you don't want to stand on a massive stage saying, we failed. No, we weren't going to do that. But to speak a bit more in person by saying, actually that didn't work for us. And because that will then start giving the view of why. Is it because it's not relevant for us? Is it because there's just systematic failure? Is it maybe that's outside of our control? the why. So in other words, it's actually not the failure. I use the word failure. Let's use optimistic language. Trying. It's not the trying.
Another way to achieve success.
Correct. It's understanding the why. Let me give you another example. And I really, really love this one because it actually really resonated with me. And in going back to my past, a friend of mine was telling me that it was his son. The way, and again, they're young, but they're getting ready for GCSE and exams and all that. And he said he actually found him that he was using, I can't remember which application, but one of the Gen AI ones to prepare for the exams. But what they did is they literally kind of told as the prompt to basically keep on generating questions for the ones that they've failed on. So you see my point?
Yeah.
It's like, I want the failure because I'm learning by effectively, okay, this didn't work, how did it work? And keep on generating questions until I adjust, and guess what? I've succeeded. So it's the why. That is actually the crux. It's not that we didn't succeed or that we tried and didn't turn out. Why? Did we have the right, was it because of the right skill sets? Was it because there's a lack of calibration in terms of risk? Was it because the objective was wrong? Was it because of the tooling? Was it the technology? Why? Because guess what? With the why, you can do something, well, potentially do something about it and go, okay, so it's tech. The tech's not ready. When we have conversations with people out there, or maybe, hey, let's do a startup because now, or if it's people, okay, so what about the people element? Is it the skill? You see my point? Rather than just going, okay, next one, move on. As you can see, keep on hearing, my raison d'etre, the anchor that I keep on focusing back to, it's about we need to constantly evolve. We need to constantly find the opportunities of how can we do better. And I think that is extremely important, well, for any organization, because at the end of the day, it's not just about customers who are evolving, by the way.
Yep.
Continuously.
For sure. Yes.
It's also internally.
Yeah.
I mean, look, not to point fingers or anything, but Gen Z, alphas, etc., and so forth. I mean, I'm hearing more and more that people are rejecting job offers because the company isn't providing Gen and AI capabilities.
Yes.
Now, you may go like, oh, then it sounds a bit absurd. I'm like, true. But imagine, you go and get a job offer. It's fantastic. And they say to you, oh, yeah, we used Telegram and courier pigeons. There's a change. So there's that need of continuous growth.
Candidates are interviewing companies as much as companies are interviewing candidates.
Oh, 100%. 100%. Now, I want to bring us back to a very important point because people say to me sometimes like, David, no, one thing I've learned a long time ago, that's not about right or wrong. And that's a challenge because sometimes we position it as, oh, no, this is the right thing to do or this is the wrong thing to do. No, back to context. Every organization will have its context. It will have its right and its wrong. But it's important to uncover that and to evolve within that context.
On that one, I have a high-level question. We've been talking about evolution, and we have been talking about transformation.
Yeah.
There are people who talk about one-person companies, and we've been also discussing in detail about the different levers across an organization that we need to tweak to bring the organization towards this change. When the leadership wants to set a vision of where this AI transformation should lead my company to, how should one go about it? What is in the spectrum of evolution to transformation? How does one find a balance? How to set a vision?
This should be part of your book, right?
You've just added a whole chapter. So I probably have an imperfect answer. And the reason I'm saying it's an imperfect answer is because I can only tell you my way, which has kind of manifested itself from my own educational path through setting up teams, programs, and etc. By failing, making mistakes. So you always have these these bonding programs where you put the executive teams and all that, and one of them is also about understanding different styles. One style that I learned about myself, which is very interesting because really there are different ones, is when you have a target, you have some folks who are like very they look, they aim, they understand where to go, and then they shoot because they want to make it count. The other ones are just like, let it rip, fine. I'm the shoot, aim, shoot. So it means I know that, okay, maybe I shouldn't say this and it sounds a bit wrong, but I almost consciously need to make a few deliberate mistakes to calibrate where we need to go in. But again, it's doing it consciously. So like I said, it's an imperfect answer. But whether it's a one-person shop, which I've been, in fact, in this building, one of the startups back in parts, in fact, I think it was the same level, to very large, tens of thousands of people organization. The premise is still the same. It's you just have to try, understand the comfort, calibrate with respect to that, and then move forwards. But the most important one is that it has to be done in collaboration. And again, I know this sounds mothership, sun's rising from the east kind of thing, but it's been, at least for me, this has been such an important truth. I have to do it with you. So even if it's going to take me slightly longer, it has to be done with you, because put aside the failures, the 91%, put aside that, and put aside the successes that have happened, by the way, because obviously there have been successes in the industry using AI. But have we achieved the point when we can say that AI is sustainable? I don't think so. What I mean by sustainable is it's boring. It's just there. It's doing an initiative is not a multi-million-dollar exercise. I don't have to, give birth to an elephant every single time. It's there. It's incremental. And that's why it has to be done in collaboration, because the goal isn't just to get it done. The goal is the after it's done.
Right.
That you can do it, not me. You can do it again.
Right.
You can do it again. And another thing which keeps on coming up about organizational structure with it is like, is it central? Is it federated? Is it central? Is it fed? I'm bored with that discussion, because the answer is both. The goal is everyone does it.
Excellent. Great way to end the first part of our podcast. We move to the next section, which is called a rapid fire section.
Oh, okay.
So it's like super fast.
Let me take a sip.
The first thing that comes to your mind. So we kickstart that one. Milind?
ChatGPT, Gemini, or Claude?
Oh, okay. I'm gonna get a few people annoyed with me, but actually Grok.
I half thought you would go with somebody from China, but
I just love the sassiness and yeah.
Excellent.
Chief data or AI officer?
Oh, AI.
Most overrated AI trend?
Agentic.
Most underrated AI trend?
Well, it has to be machine learning.
And since you've been a regulator, one regulation that you would highly recommend, or you could recommend, as in if you had the choice, you would like to bring to the world?
Okay, can I do it in inverse?
Sure, please go ahead.
There's an overtrend of having specific regulations for AI. I don't think that should be done. AI regulation should be part and parcel of the other regulations. Objective. AI is not the purpose. AI is the means.
Excellent.
Make AI regulation boring.
I don't think you need any more help in that.
One AI tool that you can't live without?
Okay, this will be very, very boring and almost borderline embarrassing. Autocorrect and spell checker. It's transformed.
It's a lifesaver, right?
Oh, it's transformed my life. And now, obviously, with this evolution, I love to write, but getting the thoughts from here to here is tough. It takes a while. So, yes,
Fantastic.
can't live without it.
David, it's been a pleasure. Fantastic.
Absolute pleasure.
So many insights, so many amazing conversation. And we really, really enjoyed having you. To all our listeners and viewers, thank you for joining our second episode of the AI Visionary podcast. Look out for our next episode. Please like and subscribe us. We'll be available on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks, David.
Thank you.